All right, we're here. How's everybody doing? I hope you're all doing better than I am. Uh, Another show. Hey, Farm Wrangler, how you doing out there? All right, so I have been working hard on the map, trying to get it ready for the mod contest if I can get it done in time, and keeps my mind off of other things. So, yeah. Good evening, old man 1022. So today you're going to see, I'm going to just do a quick tour because a lot has changed and a lot more to go, but it's probably the biggest change. As you can see, there's fields over here. Biggest change in the map since we started. Here's the forest area. I did thin out the trees because it's such a large area that was that we were working on that it was a little bit laggy with all the trees that were in here. So right now I might add some more back, but right now it's fine. It's just a forest area with the pond. But we'll take a drive around just to show you all the different things that I have been working on. There's a lot to finish up, but I think that this is the biggest difference. Will there be hemp on this map? Absolutely. The hemp is in there already. So all the crops that are in the bum the Industries 19 map are in this one as well. And they're in the blank map, starter map too. So grass is painted up to this line all the way across. Well, you can see we've got fields all the way through. I put in all the crossings so I can get across the railroad tracks except for one. I noticed that there was one that I missed, but we've got grass. I hope to get some more foliage into these areas. But there are a lot of open areas because we will have a lot of factories eventually that we need to put in after the mod contest. The one railroad crossing I did forget to put in is this one right here. So I got to work on that also. Lots of little things to fix up, but I am going through the whole map. As you could see, there's our field layout. I want to work on the mini map tonight, see if we can get something for a mini map. I don't know how good a quality we'll get, but I want to get something behind there. And there are 63 fields on the map. They're all marked, all ready to go. Because that railroad crossing is out, I'm going to sneak underneath the bridge and go around. This is on the 1.4 patch right now. So, yep, it's running on 1.4 just fine. There's not a lot of things in it that will cause it to crash. So, yeah, it's running fine. I know that's our save game on our server on the 19 Industries with the new patch. It messed up the save game for some reason. I have been pretty much strictly working on getting this because the time is short, ready for the mod contest, and I haven't even looked at the reasons why that save game isn't working yet. So here we are, uh, working on the map. The grass is painted all the way across. Thank you there, X-Man 1971, for the resub 6 months in a row. Thank you so much. So there's a couple bridges that I have to go in. Uh, all the grass is painted across this side, and we already been through the mountains a lot, so I'm not going to go up there. We've got the different buildings. Some of them still need to be hooked up, and yeah, the biggest changes I think are down in the far west, well, far south. The far south, because we put in all the extra fields. I need to have a way to get down to my bridge here, or go all the way around. Well, I'm gonna take a shortcut. Oh, come on, don't. Okay, don't tip over on me. So as we exit the mountains, I finish the forest area up over on this side. You will see we have spruces throughout here, and there are paths that go up into the forest as well. But mostly the fields. So we got grass to paint, lots of grass to paint, but you will see from up here that we have tons and tons of fields and some landscape to finish up as I work from north to south on the map. However, way down south, you will start seeing I did a couple of changes. Originally, I was going to have a pond. Well, there is a pond. It's over by it's just south of the vehicle shop. There is a pond, but I was going to put like the palm tree resort type area, and I changed that and I just built a few fields around it, which was right, where is it? It's somewhere around next block over, I think. Got to get the mini map in there. Then we'll be able to find things easier. Playing PV Industries right now. Very good. Rev it up more. Hope you're enjoying it. So there's the pond. I did away with the palm tree area around the pond because it made more sense as I was doing the map to bring it down to the southern side. So we did a whole bunch of building placement throughout the whole south edge and palm tree placement across the south edge as well. I'm going to start over in the corner over here. We'll head down this way. So yeah, it's definitely starting to fill in, look much more complete. 63 fields will be on the map to start with. We've got a floating rock over there I got to remember to take out. So as you come down here, you will see on the right is more of a palm tree area. We have row houses with the cobblestone walkway along the side. Lots of palms and the lighter desertish looking terrain underneath the grass. Different grass type there as well. There's some cut through places. And we have just a lot of different building types and gave the whole south side of the map its own little village type area. Placed tons and tons of houses, some with fences, some fire station. There's fire station down here. There's all sorts of things through here. There's a gas station that's going to go right there. Well, it is there. Just needs to be hooked up. You can go down into the port train station. And I got to lower those lines. I'm well aware. I knew those. I ran into those the other day. Parking lot lines are a little bit high in that one, if I can remember it. It's all those little adjustments. So yeah, I've really spent a ton of time coming down through here and planting lots of palm trees, fixing up all of the areas along the waterfront on the south edge. Might even have some floating objects left over because there were a million and one objects to place through here. As you could see. How long till this map and PV be done about? Well, we're gonna keep working on it, and my goal was to try to get this in the mod contest, which is deadline entry July 4th, and I'm plugging away. I don't know if it's gonna make it because of what we have to do, but if it's not in the mod contest, it won't take much longer than that, I hope. So we got to do a lot of grass planting. That's a big thing. Supra TJE, I think Supra G, or however you want me to say it. Thank you for the host there, my friend. So, yeah, lots of fields, lots of stuff going on. Time to get in there and work out some new things. I've noticed also that I do have field 25 is next to 24. That one was labeled wrong. There was one other one. So I got to move the field 25 marker to the field to the right. And where is the other one that I messed up? Ba 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 ba. Oh, and 54 has, so 25 and 54 have to be moved one field to the right. We'll take care of those little things first. Industries is on hold until the mod contest as well because we're waiting on the factory scripts that are supposed to be released in the mod contest. That's why I decided to start this one while we were waiting. Once we get this done, then we will start working on the factories and all the workings for both maps at the same time. So it will be your choice which one you want to use them with. Let's go to wrong map. Boop, map class. And many of them will hopefully be placeables that you can use to just drop into whichever. Because that's one of the reasons why I kept all of the crop types and everything identical between the two maps so that all the factories that we use can be used on either one. All the factories we create, granted it's a larger scale map on the other side. We do have to add a couple forestry sell points on this map still too. Some triggers for forestry, but right now we're going to jump in. Now, I believe it was field 25 and I forgot the other number. That's the way things go. 25 and 54, I think it was, that have to be moved. And basically, if I go to my field section, field 24 map indicator is right there. And I forgot when I copied field 25 is also right there. So this is actually field 25. So we'll move the field map indicator for that field. And 53, was it 53 field map indicator is on that field. I don't know if it was, I think it was 53. Yep, 54. So this one is actually 54. That will fix those so the field numbers are shown in the right place. So there it is in the editor. We've got a whole bunch of stuff to do, a lot of painting grass, but there are plenty of fields. What files have moved after I dump in the what files have to me moved after I dump in the stone gravel? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there, old man. All right, so view, let's see, window, da 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 da, post effects editing, and I'm gonna go view, camera. All right, this could be an issue. I want to create a mini map, but my water is going to be a problem here because it is flashing through the landscape. So what I'm going to do before I really get started is I'm going to save because I'm going to make some changes to see if I could fix that issue. Your map is I need to dump in the stone gravel, but I don't know what files to save and move after. Oh, okay. That makes sense. When you are done dumping all your sand and gravel, you need to copy from your save game the. Let me jump in and I'll show you which one while we're waiting for that to save. Documents, my games, Farming Simulator 2017, save game 2. You want to grab your terrain detail height density file from your save game. Just that file, and it's a GDM file, and then put it into your map, and it should be, let's see. I'm trying to think of where it goes. Da da da. Is it in the foliage? S. No, it's not in the foliage. It is in. It's been so long since I've done it. Terrain detail height. Here, let's just do this. Terrain detail height density is in open file location. Yeah, it's in your maps map folder. So yeah, you just gotta copy it into and replace this one right here. Once that is done, then whenever the map loads, it'll load with the product from already on the map. All right, now that I've done that, I'm going to click on my water grid and I'm going to try, I got to do a couple things. First, we have post effects editing. I'm going to pull that, I'm going to put it on my other screen just for now. Ba-ba-ba. Translate Y, I'm going to go to 0. No, we can't go that far. 30. I'm going to go as low as I can. All right. I'm going to try it at 30. And yeah, you see the crazy effect you get when you. That is always a problem with this version. The water plane showing through the map. But we can go down the whole map edges. I'm going to try to do this in 4 chunks, I think. That will keep the water. It's so hard to stitch these together. Water level looks fine. But what we need to do is have our camera. Let's see. Nope, didn't want to do that. Let's go back to a new one. I'm going to go back and load it up again. I made some changes. That's why I saved it. I'm going to try to cut it down into 4 pieces and try to stitch them together so they look right. That's probably going to be the best way to get the water to look right. I know that with the bigger maps, it can be a pain in the rear end to get a good. When I did PV19 Industry, I deleted the water plane to remove sketchy flashing then drew it back in. Yeah, I'm trying to get away from not drawing things back in because that is time consuming too. But I know that that might have to be just because the way it is. We will see if I can get I'm going to try to stitch four pictures together for the whole map. So we'll see what happens. Don't know if it's going to work, how good it's going to work. We should be able to get pretty darn close. Yes, you can make the water plane invisible, but then you wouldn't be able to see the water on the map. I'd have, like you said, T7 said it would have to be painted in by hand, which is something that I don't want to do. So what I need to do is select my camera. A rotate of -90 is looking straight down. And then my translate, we're going to go, this is a 4096, so let's go -2000, a little bit, that's okay. We're going to go less than that, 1600. I just want to get the edge, which we can even go a little bit further. That looks pretty good. 1400 and the Z translation of -1400. That's the top. I am not even in. We are rotated. There. Now we'll go back to. All right, this one goes to 1400 because whoa. And this one, just trying to get the landscape itself in there. But I have to have half the map. I want to do it in 4 pieces, which is tricky. All right. What I did with the post-processing effects here is because if I take off the post-processing effects, sometimes you can see the difference. All right. I like it better with this time with that on. Let's see. Now the other thing I can do is move the camera upwards as much as possible while keeping the water. So we're at 145. Let's go to 1600. Water still looks good. Water's starting to get bad at 1800. 1700, it's down on the bottom. You can see it's not right. So let's try 1600. Sometimes just one number make it look okay. I think I can live with that being my first screenshot. So I'm going to do an Alt print screen. I'm going to bring up paint.net. File new. I'm going to just make it like 5000 by 5000 should be. Let me go even bigger for now. I just want to make sure I have enough room to stitch everything together. All right. Edit, paste into new image. My screenshot. I don't know how well this is going to work with lining up pieces, but we're going to edit, cut that, edit, paste it, Image. Let's see. View. Zoom in. Keep zooming in till I can get a nice clear look at my first chunk of the mini map. Used to be much easier in other versions, but not too bad looking. We can see the mining areas. So we're about halfway through this field and just the top of the water showing there. So we're going to move the whole thing right till we have I wish you could just mark it. Actually, I never tried that, but I could actually create a transform point. But let's move right, which would be we can go a little bit further than that. All right, we'll be able to get it in 4 chunks. Uh because we've got that whole field and we'll take well, at least 2 chunks going across. Control print screen. I have to hit control print screen because otherwise it'll take all 3 monitors. Edit, paste into new image. Oh, alt print screen. See? That's control. Yeah, we don't want all 3 monitors. Let's do that again. Alt print screen. I keep forgetting that. We can delete that one. Edit, paste into new image. Now we gotta trim this one down and get the distance numbers out of there. That would be nice. We can actually the map starts right about there. I'm gonna cut that. Go back to my edit, paste into new layer, and then try to make it so they match up as best as possible. And you will see that there's a little bit of landscape tinting different just because of the sun angle, which drives me crazy. But it looks like that might be as close as we can get right there. So that would be the top edge. Now we got to go down. Let's go down to 0. See how my water is very... Ah. Let's go back to my image I want to see. So we just got the top of the water. See, I don't like the way the water is very blocky through there from this. I might have to do some touch-ups on the water later. Almost sure. If I got closer, that is the other option, is to start over and try to get closer on my Y. That's not doing anything for it though. The water's just gonna have to figure that out. Look at how crappy that looks. Isn't that just weird how it goes through? Da, 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 da. I think I might have to do. I hate when I have to do things like that. Let's see what it looks like. See, then I have to actually figure out where the rivers go in between the banks. How close do I have to be to get good water? That is the question. I gotta select my camera. 800. Hmm. I didn't want it to be this difficult. I might have to go try to do more pictures. The good news is that you get a much clearer picture of the mini map when you go this close. But the bad news is you gotta you've got to piece too many pieces together. You're happy to do a new one. I wouldn't do that to you. Although I'm thinking about, I got to get this in here. Let's see what happens tonight. I'm gonna try it. One set. I'm gonna just. There's my corner. I'm gonna try it. We'll start over. See if I can get these to work a little bit better. Alt print screen. We do get a definitely better water line from here, but we got to go back to this one and let's see. Undo. All right. I'm gonna try to piece it together here with these. See if we can get it to work. We've got the edge of the map right there. I gotta go higher. Let's grab that. Let's see what happens. So we've got just part of the coal mine, a sliver of coal, and a pretty good chunk of the ore mine. We gotta move right. Now, interestingly enough, the mines are covered on this view because we're that close. So I would have to change all the visibility or move them. I'm gonna remove them. Don't just remind me not to save. I'm gonna remove the covers so I can see what I'm doing here. Da da da. All right. So I can move over a little bit further. Oh, 500. Let's try that. close some of these. Close some. Edit. Paste into new image. I have my words kind of overlapping. I probably should have moved it a little bit. Let's see. Edit, paste into a new layer. Can we match it up? That is the question. If it matches, it would be right about there. Eh, I think that might suffice. Now we got to move over till we have just a sliver of this little lump below that field. All right, so we're gonna keep moving. We'll go to 500. I am gonna try right there because then I can cut off my words. Alt print screen. How many pictures? Of course, it's the second row that's never works right. So I might put a I might put you on this task here. There, T7, because I can't stand doing mini maps. I want to go. Actually, it can go right to here. That's the edge. No, it goes up further. There's some hidden. I can't stand it. Did I just do what I thought I did? I did. I didn't paste that into a new image, did I? No, I did not. Oh, I'm so screwed up. You know what? I'm not going to waste all my time on this. I'll send it to T7 and he can do it. It's just too frustrating. I hate doing mini maps in this, so I'm going to just go and do a quick so I have something. Let's go back down to 3,000. Let's go to 0, 0. Let's get rid of the water for now. And I'm going to just capture something and put it in there. I just don't want to mess with it. We have, all right, this is where I can turn off my post-processing effects, which gives it a little bit clearer. And we got to go a little bit further out. We've got the 4 edges. I'm going to just use that for now. Alt print screen. I'm going to put that in, and we'll have to have somebody paint in water because edit, paste, whoops, cancel. Edit, paste into new image. I just can't spend forever on a mini map right now. It'll drive me nuts. Edit, cut, edit, paste into new image. That's my border, pretty darn close. We can try to mess around with it if we want to by adjustments, brightness, contrast. We could try to increase the contrast up or make it look a little bit better. We've got a little bit better contrast right there. Okay, we'll save that. Image, resize. This is where it gets really, no, don't maintain aspect. 4096, file. Let's see. Let's go into my map. We have somewhere a that's the map preview. We got to change that too at some point. Ba ba ba. Maps. PDA map H right here. That's what we've been looking at. Let's see, what size is it? Image. What size are they doing? 2048. So we can scale this down. Image, resize. Now we can maintain our aspect ratio to 2048. I'm going to edit, select all, copy that one, paste it into there, file, save, right over my other one, DXT1. Don't need maps generated for that either because you don't. Okay. Let's go see what it looks like in game. Adjustments auto level. Adjustments auto level. I didn't try that. Let's see what if we have a mini map. It'll just be one step. Here we gonna delete that save game. Auto level looks better, does it? We don't have water drawn in. But we should have a mini map anyway. You're not looking forward to it. I hate doing mini maps. All right. But look, at least we have something. Uh, that field there is a little bit off. You see how that is? See the fields? They're off. That means I have to try again. uh, Close, but they're shifted down. The whole map needed to be, I needed to have a little bit more on the top edge. I've clipped it off here. And it looks like the top and left edge. So yeah, we're gonna take one more try at it. Try to get it down the bottom. Yeah, we got a little bit of right side messed up and a little bit of the top. We took too much off the top. So I'm gonna try it one more time. Try it again. makes the colors ping. I'll try that with the auto level this second time around. Because, all right, so apparently, let me go out a little bit further. Let me try to. I definitely have my four edges. I could see them all the way around. Let's try again. Alt, print screen, edit, paste into new image. Let me zoom in, view, zoom in. I'm going to start from this corner. See, there's a lot of stuff on the outside edges of this map that are not needed because they're actually off the map, all the mountains and everything. So we don't have to draw the water on the outside. Actually, it might not be too bad. I can also image crop to selection. Edit. Select all. Oh. Image. Resize. First we'll resize it, then we'll put it back into this one. I did see it shift upwards, which it needed to do. Let's see, adjustments, auto level. Whoa, okay. That's pretty funky schmunky right there. All right, file. Funky schmunky, it's my new word of the day. Yep, auto level worked pretty darn good to get it to pop. Now if I could just look at change that to the other, oh my gosh. Now if it just lines up pretty good, that would be really nice. If not, it might have to do for now because I got other things I want to do. It did make the colors ping, that's for sure. So technically, what's interesting is that I didn't realize, I don't think the water is going to be all that difficult because so much of it is actually on the outside of the mini-map, so we don't need it there. It won't show. So we're still shifted. Oh man, it got worse up here. I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. There's too much green on this side. I gotta trim that off. And let's see, in order to, and I don't have enough on the top edge. I still don't have enough, or I can take some off of the bottom edge. That should shift it down, right? Let's try taking off this green strip and getting it so that the right edge is lined up. You had to play with the light source to level it out. Yeah. I'm gonna go back to our image, and if I can take a sliver, just this sliver of where that, actually, let me recut it. I'm gonna crop that down to there and take off a little bit on the bottom right to there. Image crop to selection. Image resize back up to the 2048 by 2048. File, save it over the top of my other one. See if we're getting any closer. So literally the only water I have, because we don't have the water on the outside, is right in between these two banks, which I could see all the way around. It won't be too hard to paint in a water source right through that area. Actually, I might even be able to do a flood fill capture with, not that way. Da da da. Yeah, something like that. Let me get it fixed first before I do that, but then I can go through and try to paint up, flood fill each of these sections with water, because the water goes there, just right through there. Everything else on the outside of the map. Let's see if we're closer though. Oh yeah, the ponds. Yeah, we should be able to. I gotta paint a couple of the ponds. Yes, the bottoms of them. We've got a few ponds to put in, but the river itself and the ponds should not be. They should stand out once I get the bottoms painted. We can throw them in there. Actually, should have painted them before I took the screenshot, but I'm this far, so we'll make it work. All right, so left to right. See, now we got top edges showing and bottom edges showing down here. How the heck do you get around that? It's too much off to the left, and then on this side it's the right. I mean, oh my gosh, it's really bad at the top. I hate these things. What did you do to the light source? Do you remember T7 to flatten it out? Because that is not going to work. It's just too far off. See, it's missing on the bottom here, but on the top up here. So it is a light. I mean, and on the top up here, it's really, really bad. Can't have that. That's just way off. Other than that, it would have been fine. I think I took off too much on the top, that's for sure. Light source. He says he played with the light source. Let's see. Can you come on Discord? Yeah, come on down to my little channel. Yeah, if you're there. I see you there. Head on down here. I need help. I need help. Boy, do I need help. Hey, what's up? All right, so you played with the light source too, huh? Yeah. Yep. I wonder if what I'm going to start with is I'm going to take off all the edges so I could see just the map. Get rid of all this stuff because that doesn't need to be printed. There is the actual map border right there. Da da da. Let me see what we've got here. I I'm messing. Whoa, that was interesting. I'm messing with some numbers in the post-processing effects, and it looks better without them. Okay. There is a light scattering, but that's all in the post-processing. So with that shut off, shut off. Yes, you move the position of the sun more toward the bottom right to bright. Okay, I see what you did. So you rotated to bright. Oh, that might be better right there. Let's try that one. So yeah, this is not. It used to be much easier until they added this new effects that they. Oh, trust me, even on the last version of the map on 17 and every version before it, because the lighting effects did not mess with it, you could just do exactly what we're doing here and get a pretty darn good image. All right, so I'm gonna try that image crop to. Oh, you know what? I have. Let's try this again. Let's try it without the sun highlighted. You know, that might be a better screenshot. Yeah, it might be. I got the gizmo. Yes, I did. We don't want a gizmo in the middle of the map. All right. I don't know if it's going to be any better, but we're going to try it. Oh, before I save it, we really need to put it to the right size. I might have to trim off. See, I got a little bit of edge around the outside, but The map looks great. Now, if only it would line up. Yeah, it makes a square selection, but it does the square will not actually grab the whole map for some reason. I've tried that before. You think it would line up? I could try it, but normally it still cuts off a different part of the map because of yeah. Let's see what this looks like. If not, I'll give that a try. But being square, don't type too much. I'll lose your instructions. All right. So we're off on the top edge. See, it's shifted. It's just shifting a little bit all the way around. There's some edging. And in the middle, the bottom right. Let's see. You have orthographic checked on the camera in GE2? I have no idea. Orthographic checked. I didn't know there was an orthographic setting. Let's see. On the camera itself, perspective, camera. Where is. No, I don't have orthographic checked. If I do, what does that do? It made everything disappear. What is orthographic supposed to do? Do I have to change anything? Because it kills my. I'll put the post effects back on and then click orthographic. No, I don't know what the heck orthographic does. It will line up, but it disappears. Oh, do I have to go? No, I don't know what the heck. Oh, okay, so I change the orthographic setting. All right, let's try that. I love it. It line up. Okay. Let's see. Oh, print screen. That might be doing it. I never knew about that orthographic setting right there. Thank you, JD fan. That does look like it made everything line up correctly. So we're learning. I hope. Edit. Paste into new image. Now we got, if you zoom in on the corner, hold the scroll wheel on the mouse. I don't have a scroll wheel. Oh, I do have this. All right, let me view, zoom in one. Whoops. Hold shift when dragging your selection. I can't hold my mouse wheel and hold shift. Let's see. All right, there, my shift. That is perfectly square, like he wanted. Image, crop to selection. Image, resize, maintain aspect ratio. If it doesn't work this time, adjustments, auto level, file, save as. Forget the mouse wheel part. All right. Oh, look at that. There is an emergency alert, severe flash flood warning in the area. Gotta love when that happens. My phone's just going crazy. All right, so we got that. Let's see how close we are. We might have to trim something. I taught you the auto level part. It looks a lot better, yeah. The auto level does amazing. Whoops. Don't, no multiplayer. Sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. We're getting closer, I think, though. So it's square. Remind me not to save with all the changes I made to the map. That's the, that would really stink. Exit out when I have a good looking map. You know what? Little bit too much on this side right here. Just a sliver. I think I can live with that though. It's actually so much better. Look how much closer it is. So I would need to just take off. Oh wait, one of the, I think it's this, it would be, let me think. If I took off this, it would shift the whole, it's just this top edge right here, that little white space. If that comes out on that edge and we start a little bit in further, I think we'll be golden. All right, let's try one more little adjustment. Thank you so much for that. So you guys are making mini maps a lot easier with your, so orthographic, remember that. Change your setting to orthographic, it squares it right up. So we're gonna go back to my picture, which is this one right here. You can see that I had, here we can zoom in a little bit further. Whoops, don't want to do that, but you could see that I had a little bit of a overlap. So we hold the shift key, get the exact point, and drag it, drag it, drag it right to there. Image, crop to selection, file, save. And I think one real quick look, heck, we're this far, we might as well paint in some water. I see most of the water spots, so if this works. Oh, resize. Thank you. Up, back up. Yep, I forgot to resize. Important step. When we trim down the image, you always want to go back to resize back to 204. Now, why did it change? I held down the button, but it's not here. Let's go back and do that one over because it did not keep it square, but it wants to be here. So shift. It's making me drag square. But it's just a couple pixels off, so I'm going to just change it to 2048. I think it's because I'm going right up to the edge. Let's try that. I think I'm really close now anyway. We can see water areas. They're pretty, that's the pond, so we can sculpt in our water pretty easily. We pick a nice color if it all ends up looking good. Good night, X-Man. We'll catch you later. If it looks good, we're going to pop in the water. I was pretty happy with the way it looked the last time. I mean, we can only get uh so far, so close right now if we are, you know, a little bit of a shadow on it, but I think that there still looks like there's a tiny, tiny little bit of too much on the top there. I can see, if I zoom in, I see a white line still right down the side of the map that needs to come off. The top looks okay, but it's that one little white line. I thought I got rid of it. Did I save it correctly? Let's go back and check. I'm going to drop some water in too. I think we're close enough right now. I just want to see if we can get a little bit closer. So as I zoom in, it's hard to see that one little strip, but I do see it now. I would need to take that little piece off. Image resize. Yep, 1 pixel off. 1 pixel. I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference, but for now, it will. All right, so what I have is I'm going to jump into my area select tool. I'm going to bring it up if I can. I'm going to select a color blue from my wheel, but I'm going to do a fill. Let's just do some of this and see what happens. Might need to do a little touch up, but it'll at least show you there is water coming through here. Da 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 da. When you get a lot of spaces in it, you just move your tolerance level and you can get in between my river banks. See, when you're going outside the river banks like I did there, that's when you got to bring your tolerance level back down and try to, let's see what it looks like. See, we're going to get a little bit of green in there because of that, but I will don't want to get the whole I'll just have to touch up a couple of the spots in here when we get done with the water, which isn't too hard. It's a lot easier than painting everything. Brush size. Let's go with something pretty big. Oh, let me da 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 take off, edit. I gotta be able to. There we go. We'll select the whole image so I can just take some of these spots out. There's a little bit of work needed to be done right in here because it was a little bit messy. All right, I do see my pond right here below my farm. A little indentation. We have a pond right here that I'm leaving the beach border. I don't know if you guys can actually see the difference on there, but there is a slight coloration difference. We know that's water. Uh, da da da. There's one place right over here. There's that pond as well. Whoops. Undo. I got crazy. Not saying it's perfect, but it's better than nothing. The big pond right here. Now that one, I can definitely see a difference right there. So I'm going to flood fill that one. Let me see if I can. Yeah, well, we'll just clean up the edges a little bit with my brush. Oh, edit. Select all. Went out of lines. I've never said I was an artist, but I pretend to be one. I am not Bob Ross. he could do this for me if he was alive. This is more what I have just one little piece of okay. I do know that if I grab my eyedropper tool and select that color and go back to my paintbrush and make it smaller, like that small, I can fix that one little area right there. Okay. Roads, yeah, they'll need some work, but we've got some water in there. Happy little accidents. All right. I just wanted some sort of a mini map. I think that for now we have some sort of a mini map. Let's jump in and take one more look. We can drive around a little. And then the fun begins. The fun of Farmland file. We gotta I gotta find an image for the map too. That I was gonna do that close to last because it is the map class image and that's what this is, but we do have to replace that. Now whether I do it with screenshots from the map or if I just find a cool looking photo that we can use, I think I'll probably do some sort of screenshot. I don't know. There are a lot of things that I can do to the map after the release. There are tons of little detail items that I would love to put in, like the docks that go out in the water and stuff. But we got to main focus right now is to get enough of it done for the mod contest, if that is at all going to be possible. So the important things. So we are on, like I gotta fix up some of the mini map here too because there's some grass. Some of the slabs here need to have a little bit of editing because there's grass in the middle of them from the distance. But I can do that easy enough. We're pretty close as we go open up, whoops, our mini map. If I was on the road, you can see that road right there. We can see the mining areas very clearly. I think we have a good start to a mini map. We definitely have a lot of places to dump stuff up in the north too. Let's go to look at the overview, see how well they line up now. I think it's pretty close. Yeah, there's a little bit of shading, but for the most part, I don't know if we can get much better in this episode. I think it we can fix some of the details in the map, like the edges around some of the blocks, fill in this here slab, the slabs so it's cleaner. That's pretty easily done. Try to straighten up our cobblestone areas on our roads and stuff, but I'm gonna have to go with that for our starting mini map, and we'll continue on. We got to do some farmland XML file. We've got fields everywhere. We should see our little pond right up over here. Now, one of the things, just like most of my maps, the railroads are raised, so finding the right roads to get in and out of places kind of helps because there are the little crossing areas. Now if we go right to this edge of this, you'll see there's a little sand border around. Yeah, I think that we'll be all right with that. We've got water, we've got all sorts of stuff going on. We can see the little roads even in this little forest area are almost identical to where they're supposed to be. I'm actually driving looking at the mini map, not actually there. So yeah, I can live with that. We got a lot of other things to do and a lot of other fields. So yes, if you don't use the railroad crossing, you're going to have little bumps. So if we look at our land areas, our lands, I was messing around a little bit. We have our little starter land and we have the big whole map land, but we have to start uh, moving some things around. Yeah, there was actually two lands right there, but we're gonna go in and divide this map up into a ton of little pieces, which is not going to be easy, but it has to be done. Pretty good with that for now. We've got to keep moving forward. Now, these are very tricky with the editor. Oh, let's first, before we do anything, let's close the editor without saving all those terrible changes I did just to get that mini-map. If I save, we are going to have some problems, so no, do not save. Let's reload it. If we saved all those changes to our sun and all the other settings, it would be a disaster. Don't save. Exactly. Let's bring it back up. Meanwhile, we have a Farmlands XML file, which I will load in. There it is. We have ID 123. All right. I am going to close quite a bit of these little windows. We don't need a ton of them. Open. We're beyond a lot of that stuff right now. Gonna work a little bit on our Farmland XML file. Starting with, once the map loads up, look, we have everything back. Okay, so let me expand this out a little bit. Let me close my post effects, which were on the other screen. We've got the map back here. Now these work funky. It's going to again be a little bit of a crazy time here, but you click on this button right here, the terrain info layer paint mode. If you go down to your info layer painting and click on Farmland, you will see that the whole map is painted in 0, which is the white, and you can see a spot right there. If I go to layer value 1 and move around, notice that nothing happens. And that's what's weird. If I go to 9, nothing happens. Let me see if I can pull this out a little bit. But the bits change. If I go to 1, it's bit 0. If I go to 2, it's bit 1 that's selected. And if I go to 0, there's no bit selected. What I do is think, think, think. All right, so I'm going to start with layer value 1. And with layer value 1, we know it's bit 0. Now, I'm going to turn that off, turn it back on, go back up into my corner up here. It is crazy. Actually, I might start with layer value 2. Layer value 2 is just bit 1. But notice when I click just bit 1, it says it's layer value 3. All I want is a new layer value. When you go to layer value 1, it shows it's just bit 0. Bit 0 is the whole thing. So I'm going to go to 2, reselect it so I have a new white color. And then we're going to have to define our areas that we want to be for each zone, and we got to cover every single pink pixel on this map. So we're going to call this, you'll notice it'll paint it in white. I'm going to go this mountain range here. I'm going to cut it across. There's going to be a little bit of extra, but I want to definitely include just this mine. So we got to kind of go up and over and figure out, I guess what I can do right now before I get too crazy is I'm going to turn this whole tunnel tops invisible. It'll help me see what I'm doing as far as the areas. So we'll turn them invisible. Now I can actually see better the areas underneath. I'm going to turn the rocks here visible as well. Now I can see my areas and what is outlined. Turn back on that. And we can outline our first area of the map that needs to be segment cut off. Now if you miss even one little block in this, you're going to get an error. But this is how you create your different farmlands. I'm not even so sure I do like to include the extra mountains around the areas just because they have to be in something. So I'm going to include this section with here. It'll make the area cost a little bit more because it goes, this is how the price is determined by the area that you're purchasing. So whoever purchases this little block of land will get the mountains so they can sculpt around it a little bit if they want to. And just make sure, I mean, if you want to get technical, you can try to square up your edges nicely when you bring them to across the map. We can fix that one. But I wanted to get that one chunk in. Okay. Now that is our that layer value 3, which is bit 1. Okay. So if we come over to this here, ID 3 price scale gives you an MPC. I'm not going to set to default property. I'm going to turn that to false. Oops, turn off my caps lock. You can put a notation. I was on my other that this is bit number 1 if you want to, or label what section it is, or whatever you decide to do. Um, wait, what did I do wrong? I'm not gonna worry about it. We're gonna keep going. So next one would be farmland value 4. It shows that it's just bit 2. I'm gonna unhighlight it and re-highlight it again so it gives me the new area to paint, and we're gonna get a farmland area. We'll get my circle a little bit smaller. Because if you don't, after you select it, it kind of gets a little bit screwy and messed up. You want to make sure you get all the area that you want as you're doing these. I'm going to leave a little bit of the base of the hill so that if somebody has to put an object who gets the actual field down below, they want to get an object in there, they can. I'm going to go across right here. And let's see, we're going to bring that right through the middle. We'll clean up the edge after. And I'm going to go right down across. This also, if somebody buys the mine and they want to build something along the edge, they'll be able to, or expand it out a little bit to put a building in, they'll be able to. I'll try to make a cleaner edge, but sometimes it doesn't work. It doesn't have to be. It will detect it. What you don't want is spaces in the middle of this area. If you have a space in the middle, that causes issues. You'll have a little pixel in the middle of that will not let somebody harvest because one pixel is not owned in the middle of a field. Or so yeah, you want to make sure sometimes going with the square edge when you're trying to make square edges, sometimes going with the square edge. And a lot of times it can happen right under a road, so you could have a little pixel underneath the road that you can't see that is the different color, and it can screw everything up. So I always do the edges first. Once you got your whole edge for the area, you can fill it in. Just make sure you get every single block that's in there. Sometimes I will miss a block, and when I get into the map itself, it will be apparent that I did, and I'll have to come back and find it. But I usually only do a few areas at a time because of that. I do know that there's probably the starter areas that I originally had might even be the same colors that I'm using. Where's the starter farm? That's over there. But this is going to be filled in. And you got to look at it from different angles sometimes because there will be a little piece on the side of a hill that you don't see. Like that. From the other side, it looked like I was done, but I had two big spots. Um, let's do this next mine area. So that one is area layer value 7 was just pixel 2. So we come over here, we'll copy this here. I'm going to drop down and I'm going to put in 7. Farmland ID equals 7. Um, I do this randomly. Save that file. If I wanted to go back now and find one of the, so if I'm missing ID number 4, you can go Farmland ID 4. It will tell you that it's, why, see, that's weird. 4 just shows, goes to just pixel number 2. But 0, 2 is 5, 0, 1, 0, 3 is 9. See, it's something funky with this, which is kind of weird. I'm going to do 0, 2, which is ID number 5. Alright, we're going to use that one. Make sure you just have the different color so you can go back to white. When we do this field or this area and then the next one, we'll definitely have, here, let me get a smaller. We got some intricate area to go around here. Because we're going to go across the bottom close to my trees. And I think I will split this road right down the middle, which is interesting actually because I can't see underneath my road. So maybe I'll bring it right to the other side of the road. That way I know that the whole road is, for now, when we go, I know that the whole road is covered underneath. That's the important thing. If I get one of those little pixels that's not colored, then we've got issues. T7MHA, thank you for 5 months in a row, 7 total subs. Appreciate that. You are awesome. Oh, I can't. I don't want to go that far. So yeah, back to coloring with a big blocky brush. Oh, we can always fix the edge with the next piece if we don't like that little jet. I don't want to keep going back and redoing. We'll just take it out when we paint the next color over there. If I wanted to be really super technical, I could make all the roads invisible as well and then put the line straight down the middle. But I think this will be just fine with this area right there. You could also see it underneath. See how I'm painting under the water? If we miss 1 pixel under the water, not done, which I think I might have on this side, then we'll know about it. We look okay right there. Because there's a piece. So if you get to those areas and you're not sure, make your brush real big and really go over it so you know that you got whatever's underneath there as well. It'll show up when we get to the back in the game. So all the way around. Just get that edge done. Whoops, I went out of line. Across the road. This is how we do our farmlands. Sliver over there, a little bit there. Take another look. I think we'll be pretty good with that one. Again, that one was, according to this, farmland layer value 5. So, with that, we come back over here and make sure we have farm value 5. I'll put it in order. ID equals 5. Up, boop, boop. Now the NPC IDs you can use, I forget what the highest number. You can go down and change those later. 10, 11, 12. I'll have to look at the other file to see how if there's a 0, 1 for one or if it's just ID. But that's which NPC owns the property. I'm going to save this and we're going to jump in and we should start seeing, and I do check every now and then just to make sure I don't have something, a pixel out of place. or something like that, because if you get too far along and you all of a sudden realize you had something go a little goofy, you'll know it. There's also in there, while we're saving, a price scale. So you can make different areas, and sometimes I do that too. I mark it like coal mine, ore mine, and I'll put it in afterwards what the piece of property is, and then based on what it is, I can increase the value by doing one is standard, two is double the price, 1.5 would be 1.5 times the normal price. So if there's a certain commodity like coal that you want it to be the property to cost more, you can change that. Or if you wanted a forest area to cost more on your map, you can change that too. But just by changing the value of the area that you're purchasing. I'm going to save that. We have our farmland XML saved. Load up your map and check your log file for errors. And if there is any, you will know. When you're loading up the map, there will be, you will sometimes get, all right, we do have a couple can't load resources in there. That could be from something before. I'll have to check those out. See what resources I'm not loading. Error can't load. Blank map shared default. No, looks like I'm missing the decals for the train, which is okay because all right, my yeah, it's invisible anyway, but I can add those back into the map. That won't be what I was looking for, and we're missing the buildings workshop wave file. Easy to get those back in. I was just looking for any possible files that or bits that weren't set. If I didn't have it matching in the Farmlands XML, it would show up. If I come back in here and we click on our lands, you can actually see the outline. So those are the first three. That one's $13, that one's $8, and that one's $13. So our value scale is really screwed up for some reason. What the heck is going on? But you also see this edges, very rough edge here. I gotta go back to this one here and get the edge cleaned up along there. That one looks okay. That one, see, that one was much better. I didn't get underneath the edges of these two, so you got very blocky. But why is it $13? And why is that $8? What the heck did they do to my value scale? The whole big map is 1,000. We're going to redo those eventually. See that? That one is also part of this one right here. It's split. That's what happens when you get duplicate numbers, but we're going to get rid of those when we get down there. So why are we have values so low? Is that value scale? Price scale 1, price per hectare. Right there. They messed that. That's what's messed up. Let's go back and see what we have for the other map settings in my Farmland XML. Da, 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 da. Map SA, farmlands. I do know we have to change the bits to 8. Number of channel equals 8. But the price per hectare in this was not even set. So we don't even need that in the other one. We do need the number of channels to 8. We can do a, apparently I didn't even know you could put that in there, price per hectare, but I'm going to take it out. Now it should default it back to the standard in-game settings, which, see, I had bit 0 East Mountains. So basically, if I go through here, I could see ID 4 is just bit 2, is so it says. But when I go over here, yeah, ID 4. So we need to put 4 in. We can, just bit 2. 4 is going to be, but what we have to do is fix our other 5 is 0, 2. We got to fix these edges. That one was the good edge. It went all the way around. 3 was 0, 1. Oh, see, that says it's 7. See, that's what's weird about that. But you could see that I missed some of the edge under here. I'm trying to figure out which one was, what was the other piece that I put in there? We have 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7. 1 is just bit 0. But when I do bit 0, it says it's 7. Isn't that just, that's what I do not get about this. Is there no other bits set? I'm trying to figure out what this chunk here was. From here, 1 should be bit 0, 2 is just bit 1, 3 is 1 and 2. But I expanded it. Oh, I changed my channels. That's what I messed up. I just changed it to 8. I should have done that earlier on. That's 0. That's the whole map. 1, 2. Can't figure out which one this one was to fix my edge. I'm gonna save it and reload it because I don't think it matches my change price per hectare to 60,000. I could do that, but I think it defaults to, if you don't have it in there, I'm going to save this and reload it because I think, because I just changed my channels to 8 in my Farmland XML, that I got to reload the map so it's back in sync with my layers. But it does a default value per hectare if it's not included, which the game does. JD Mods, I'm doing all right. Just doing farmlands. How are you doing? I am going to quickly, very quickly, take a break when I'm reloading this to use the little boys' room, and we'll be back to do some more farmlands. We've got lots to do. Working on our farmlands XML file. So let's load that up. I'll be right back in just a couple minutes. How to increase the number from 64 to higher? I'll cover that in just a minute, old man 1022. Be right back. All right, so I'm back. Yes. All right, to increase the number of channels there, old man. Number of channels 6, bring that up to 8 in your Farmland XML file, as well as in your map itself in an i3D editor. We'll bring that open that up. And when it's done opening, takes a little while. If you go down past your materials and you will find, I don't know if it's above the layers or below, but we'll find out. Um, it's below. All right, we have a setting right here. Terrain detail height. You want to number density map channels is 11. Farmland right there, farmland. Make sure that the farmland ID number of channels equals 8 as well, and that will give you 256 farmlands available on the map. Now I loaded that up because I wanted to check if I click and I switch back to my farmland. ID 0 is the white area. 2 is not showing at all. If we go to 1, farmland ID 1, it shows that as, see that these numbers here are always messed up. There's 0. That's the one I want to edit. We got to get the edge all the way around under the water. The edge that we can't even see. That'll work. because that has to be covered too. It says layer value 3, but it's channel 0. I tend to stick with not using these IDs here because they always get messed up, but using, see now it says that that's 0. This one is not used, which I will use this one. See, they don't match up. I don't know what the heck the deal is with that. I have no clue. Ba ba ba. But make sure when you're painting. So I try to get the IDs from the layer value, but it doesn't work out right. So make sure you get a different color that isn't white, and you're usually pretty well set. Your map is about 90% done. You're welcome. Mine is a long way from being. It's getting there. This is a big part. I hate the way that these farmland IDs, and it might be because I increased the bit size. It might not be. I don't know. I'm gonna come right across, get a good chunk of this field. This field will be another area. We'll kind of go back to our round brush and shrink it down a little bit. We gotta do, I want to go right down the road because the forest is going to be an area as well. So we'll kind of divide the road in half. I should have left it square, but just make sure you don't have any single pixel colors in there. And you'll be all right. So we'll go up a little bit in there, get that. Color it in. I am going to stick to my other chart as far as what IDs to use rather than the in-game layer charts because that seems to be what works best for me. Two trains, one barge, two BGA, three forests, 16 sell points. And you have traffic and pedestrians. Well, you're way ahead of me. You gonna get it in the mod contest? I hope you can. I hope to see lots of people that watch the show get a map into the contest. If that would be kind of cool. So that was just info layer 1. What did it say? Bit number 1. So that would be ID 2, bit 1. 1 and 2 is ID 3. Bit 2 is 4. I think we used that one as well. No, we didn't. Bit 2 would be field 4. Let's see. Nope, we didn't use 2 yet. So that's number 4. So we'll put 4 in right here. Get the forest in there. Start with this edge. You can see the color difference. So if you want a list of the bits, you can jump onto my industries map. They're labeled, and I have most of the numbers and what bits they are. They don't correspond to what the layers do in the game for some silly reason. But I'm just going to go with that. That way I know I'm getting it done right. Gets a little tricky when you're looking around trees to make sure all the blocks are covered. But first we'll get the edges. You can zoom out far enough that you don't see the trees. You can turn them invisible temporarily if you need to. But let's do this. Get my edge of the forest area right up to the other area that is already colored. We got to do this for the whole map, folks. It's going to be a little bit. But I will be working on this part until it is done next show. Hopefully I can get back on for Sunday. It's been a crazy world. Lots of issues going on right now, but I don't see why right now that I'm gonna be working on the map like crazy. That's for sure. I am running out of time, and I want to try to get this. Gonna give it my best bet, my best go at it to see if I can get it into the contest here. All right, we're gonna come across this side of the forest too. It's a new edge, so we can kind of bring it right across. In the game, these areas not as crucial as around fields because if you get a little chunk of the mountain with the forest, it's better than uh, not having a chunk of the forest, so I do tend to go on the overside. I do tend to go on the overside with adding the forest in there rather than, I mean, the mountains into the forest rather than the forest being cut short and having it so that you can't cut down a tree because it's sitting just outside the forest edge. If we go way up, I don't know if we can, there, we can see the outline. We can try to, but getting it from this distance is a little bit tricky. The other thing you could do, which I've done in the past, is I come back down to ground level. I got my trees all in a group. At translate 0, we'll put it up to 300, get them out of the way. Now I can see it clearly where I have to go. And then we'll just bring the trees back down. They're up in the sky. Make sure you get all the blocks. So many different ways. Better than deleting the trees, just move them out of the way. Is there anywhere you can get the bits for the farmland? If you increase the bit set, PV Industries 19 map has everything labeled as far as the bits are concerned. So I just did bit 2, which if we look at my, what did I do with it? What did I do with it? It's underneath here somewhere. First of all, we can close this down. Let's close them down. We did enough work on the mini map for now. Where is it? Oh, did I drag it all the way to, I think it's way down here. I dragged it. Wait, there it is. Okay. Ba ba ba. So bit 2 is ID 4. And it is 0204. So if you wanted to change the NPC owners. So ID 4 and that means I got 4, 5, so I'm missing bit 6. So if I go to my one that was in my 19 map, I could see that 6 is 0 and 1 combined, bit 0, 1. I have them all labeled all the way down to 147 that I used in the other map. 0, 1 will be bit 6. So, or bit 0, 1 will be ID 6. So we come down here, 0, 1, and that is not correct. Something is fishy because that shows up as 3. I have no idea why. Let's go down to figure out what 7 is. 7 is what 0, 1, 2. I think this has to be on nothing all the time. Let's try that. Bits 0, 1, 2. That is so weird. First I can bring my forest back to 0. Put that back down. 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 Put that back Yeah, I'm kind of confused at why that's happening like that. 0, 0, 1, 0, 1, 3 is new. 0, 1, 3, I have something funky going on, but 0, 1, 3 should be Farmland ID 11. Let's try painting in that one over here. We will get this mine area and we'll put in number 11. But there is definitely something strange happening with my bits. The most important thing is to make sure that we have different colors and that you're using a white where it wasn't done before. I think I'll do these trees right up into that piece. Yeah, these will work. Just when you select your bits, just make sure that you're painting with a new that the white is not on the map anywhere and just go through. There's actually a setup, the default bits. It might be because I changed the channels. If I went back to 6, it might be all right again, but I keep tech checking and testing. I'm gonna get that piece in there. I'll go back in and make sure I have different defined areas. This should be 11, so I'll go back in and I'll add 11 to my Farmland XML. And if it doesn't show up, you'll get an error saying Farmland ID is not set. And it'll tell you what number is not set. And then you have to add that into your Farmland's XML file. So far, I haven't run into that. So if this is truly 11, like I believe it is, when I go back in and add 11, it should keep the error from appearing. And I can give you an example of that in once we get this section done. I'll show you what I mean by that. And it was the way I did the first map anyway, which is crazy, but it worked. Because the first time it was all guessing for me. So what I would do is I would paint the field, the area like I am right now. Then I would load up and see what farmland ID was missing, and it would tell me, and then I would add it to the list. So it's good to have a list of the bits just so you know which ones you've used already, but we'll give you that as a guide on how to determine which one you just used. I believe this is 11 because of the list that I already had previously saved. even though it's saying something different in my farm in the values index. If this truly is 11, that area right there, we'll save it. Then without, which is bit 013, we'll save this. Then without adding 11 into here, it should pop up an error saying that farmland ID is not set and will tell me which ID it is. So I'll show you. That's how I originally did it. It is a pain. We got to do the whole darn landscape like this, but we'll show you. And we did remove the default value per hectare, so it will use Giant's default value. Farmland's never fun. They get better when they're square, but going through the mountains, it's a little trickier. Especially because I want each of the mine areas to have its own ID. All right, so we're saved. If I go back in to load up the map now, and I know there are other errors from train pieces and graphics missing. I'm not concerned about those. They'll be pretty easy for me to fix. Right now, for the show, we're going to load up my map. And because I did not put 11 or whatever this new field ID is into my file, it should give me, there you go. See, error farmland ID 11 not defined in farmland XML file. I was right, it was 11. That is the way I did every single field early on, is I won't get that field and I will have an error in my XML file. So we will quit and we add farmland ID 11, which I was correct. It's worse than painting the grass foliage. It can be. But I do have that one from my 19 industries map. I have so many of them already done. So I'm just a little confused as to why. I'm going to add farmland 11 here. So there. Now I have 11 at a price scale 1. I'll change the NPCs to US 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when I'm ready. But right now, that's not as big of a concern. So if I was looking for ID number 6, which is missing in my list, it should be bits 0 and 1. But that's the one that I'm having issues with because I don't have 6 in my list. But if I come back in here and switch on bits 0, oh, wrong one, down below, just bits 0 and 1, I have this section highlighted and it shouldn't be. So I'm skipping that for now. Unless it's too, I might have it double painted. Uh, I have no idea why it's doing that. It's saying it's ID 3. 0, 1 is supposed to be. ID 3 says it's 1 and 2. What happens if I highlight 1 and 2? I don't have a 1 and 2. So that's a little bit confusing. Let's use 1 and 2 for our next segment and put in I and see what happens. We'll chunk off this mine right here. If watch it say ID 6 is not defined. I'm just curious. 1 and 2. So it might be a little bit off for some reason. Make sure we get our whole salt mine area. And we'll go right over to the edge. I could add a, I might cut some of the edges off later, like this mountain range, but right now I just want to get her done. So we're gonna add this whole big piece in. I might add some totally worthless pieces and cut this down, add a new farmland ID after the map is done, and paint part of this back over. So this one is the mystery one. I don't know why it should be 6. It says it's 6 on my list, but it's also the 1 and 2 are the bits for ID 3 on my other list. So make sure we get the edge underwater. And fill in all the little spots. Make sure, look at it from a couple angles, make sure there's nothing else. So that would be our salt mine area. I'm going to save that and see what bit number. That should pop up a bit set that I didn't use because there is no white on the map. It's worse than painting the grass foliage. The grass foliage, you got to be a little bit more exact because you could actually see it. But yeah, these bits will drive you're crazy. They will. But it's just another step that has to be done. So because I used white and it's a completely new area, we should have an error telling me exactly which bit, which farmland ID it is. Which to me, on my list, 1 and 2 is farmland ID 3, but I already have 3 in there and it says this is 6. So I'm going to go in and load up and see if it says that 6 is missing. And that should answer. It probably will say that 6 is missing, even though I had these labeled as 3 for some reason. But we'll find out. Yep, ID 6 not defined. So that is 6. I'm gonna. It's like 6 and 3 got reversed for some reason. Don't ask me why. So I'm gonna add 6 in. I will check the prices. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna check them closer once I add 6 in without the Error. Sure will. So we're gonna put 6 in the list. We'll have another farmland. Then we can look at the prices. We'll put in farmland ID 6. All the prices set to scale of 1. Now we have them all labeled. Okay, we'll reload the game and we'll check our areas and our prices and see what it looks like. I don't check it when I know there's an error because that could throw something off. Now that we're error free with that anyway with the farmland, we can check and see how we're doing. All right, here we are. Lands. See how we have the nice clean edges? I do realize I copied one that's already owned. 851, 533. My prices are a little bit steep with that scale, as you can see. 444, 605. So we're going to knock those down quite considerably. Uh, Probably to point fives. I think that's where I want to be. That will reduce the prices of those lands. There we are. That one's 95 million. So my edges, I might be missing a little piece in the corner that could come back to haunt me right up there. There's a little bit shoddy. I think it's okay. Yeah, it might be in that. We'll find out later on if we don't have all the pixels covered. But we're getting there. We've got that one. So we've got to just keep working around all the way across. This is kind of tricky, but I'm gonna knock these down into I price uh, scale point 0.5 because they're a little bit too expensive for what I want right now. So if we come back in here and put the price scale to point 0.5 and cut them in half, and save that and reload it, now our prices should be half of what they were. And I'd much rather adjust the prices that way. Now we could do the price per hectare. Um, I may change these values later on, but I just want to get the map covered. We're running out of time. So I'm doing it across the top the quick way. We have plenty of IDs available. And now we should have decent, more reasonable prices to start with anyway. I do gotta unmark that one. Yeah, 425, 266, 394. 222. The forest is 302. 280. When we get into these smaller fields, they'll be affordable. Good night, T7. And I gotta turn this one into a not owned by player. So we'll do that. That was just a simple copied starter field number that is owned by player, which we're going to be redoing anyway. Default farm property. See, it's grab. They're all false, 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 except for this one. I don't know why. It was saying it was owned by player. But it shouldn't have. Let's see. Number 8. Let's go to number 8 and see what we get here. Farmland ID 8 should be bits, just bit 3. So if we click on just bit 3, we should have a completely new color, which we do, to work on the next spot, which will be our sand area down here. So we got to come across that. We'll do one more. Don't ask me why that other one was set as default farm property, but it's not going to be. It might be the bit I used in the center when I was creating the default farm property. We're going to come down right through here. And include this area. Gotta love this painting these things though. It'll drive you crazy. We'll go right around. I can't wait to get down below when I'm just doing the square fields and not all this mountain stuff. But that'll be done hopefully before I see you guys again. I hope to have this whole thing sculpted out and ready to move on to whatever else is next. I'm hoping to finish this up tomorrow in my what little free time I have. We'll keep plugging away. Might not finish it tomorrow, but definitely got to have this done before I see you guys on Sunday. There's no doubt about it. because there's too many steps to go and not enough time to do it. You're flying through this build. I am trying to fly because, well, number one, it seems like I'm flying because the 16x map was just so taxing. It seems like everything took tons more time. Whereas this time around, there's some bonuses with being able to have placeables later on and the new land terrain sculpting. I mostly have to focus on a basic terrain. Once we get uh, a good placeable mod set and a good system, we can add several different features through the placeables now and not actually have to it'll allow us to design landscapes pretty quickly because we don't have to have all the stuff put in, and our placeables should be able to be used between maps. So yeah, plus not being a 16x, it's going to slow down a little bit as we work on the global scripts, which everybody wants, as we work some mods in for that. But all in all, I think the whole design process has gotten easier. There's a few different steps to take. How hard would it into a blank 16x map to work on? If you wanted to work on a blank 16x map, just take it would be easier to take the Industries 19 map, which is the 16x, and flatten everything and start with that one than to. I guess, well, either way, the files are already there. It would probably be easier to do it that way for me anyway. We've got the 16x done with all the files and all the right sizes. All you have to do is flatten the landscape, remove all the objects, and start over. We are on bit 3. Bit 3 we said was Farmland ID 8. Come back over here. I'm going to just throw this last one in there. Farmland ID 8. Save it. We'll save this up and I'm going to call it a night so I can get some rest. How hard? So yeah, it defines the. Is it defined in the player mode? The player mode. That I'm not exactly sure what you're asking there. Doc Holiday, thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. This is what defines your field areas that you purchase. And we are moving down the map. We've got to cover the whole map. You can't miss any of the pixels, any block that's missed. Farmer Don 13, thank you for the sub. 4 months in a row, total 13 months, and that's awesome. You guys are great. Uh, we're gonna get this done. How? Yeah. Hopefully we'll have the whole farmland covered. We'll show you that next show. Hopefully it'll be done. We have to do that, and I got a lot of grass painting to do, and it's a pain in the grass. But I gotta go. Once we get through the mountains, then it's gonna be pretty easy to block the fields in and do the different areas. But we got to get this thing rolling. So I might even have some. We should be a lot closer, hopefully by Sunday. That's all I can say. If we're not, we're in trouble. If we're not in trouble, but we might not make the map deadline for the contest if we don't keep kicking it in gear here. So I'll zip right through this, get my farmlands in there. Let's see if we got. I got to clear out those little errors too, which are just missing files. Just got to be copied over. It's all the train files and vehicle shaders for the train. All right, I don't have the error, so the farmland ID went incorrect. We've got a little bit of a mini map that looks better. We've got lands, and I just did this one right there, so that covers that one. So and I took the owned by player off, so we've got all of these, and that's the rest of the map. These two pieces will have to disappear because they're actually linked up here. That could have been what's throwing off my error in these two pieces, is that I have little chunks down here that I got to remove that are the same IDs, but once we get down there, they'll get new IDs. Um, yep, we've got those done. We'll continue across the mountain range. Then we got to do all the field markings. I'll clean up the mini map a little bit. But right now the goal is to get this done. You can see we have very few. We have Central Station hooked up right here. Whoops, where to go? We've got Central Station, we have Southeast Station, we have the biogas plant hooked up, but we've got our farm up there, our default farm. I still have to move the icon for the vehicle shop down. We've got to finish marking all these up, and we'll do a little bit of cleanup on the bridge work and stuff to make them look a little better on the mini map at some point. But I have to hook up all these other stations too. All our stations and all our sell points. They're in the map, they're just not visible because they're not hooked up to the system yet. They're everywhere. And yeah, it's gonna look completely different once we get all this stuff painted up. I'll take one more quick look here. One more quick look at what we're doing. And trains. Trains are, so yeah, goal right now is paint everything, get the Farmland XML, get the two trains running, and finish hooking up all the buildings. That is what needs to be done in order to have the map complete for the mod contest, and that's the bare minimum that we need to get done. I can wor- I'd love to get traffic on the roads, but we got to make it playable and have what's here hooked up and running. The missions like that stuff doesn't have to be done, yeah, but it would be nice to get some transport missions hooked up in there as well. So I'm really going to just be pounding away for the next several days as much as I possibly can to get this as close to a finished map and at least get it in the contest so it's worthy of a vote or two. In the long run, it's going to be awesome. I love it already. Uh, Lots of farming fields. They're all designed so many of them can be linked together into bigger fields if that's what people want to do, but they're going to be small enough to get in some areas for people to get started and do their farming. Plus, there's a lot of terrain out here that is empty, like these big areas, for when we get the factories in. You will be able to put your own roads through and build factories up. But right now, we've got a lot of grass to plant. Anything I make has your vote. Thank you, JD. So I do have grass down this side. I also have some floating objects there, I just noticed. But grass will be creeping in. I kind of think it's going to be pretty awesome. I just got to see that Dagnet and bam, voted. I appreciate that. It'd be nice to finally get a map in the contest that, if we can get it done, it's got a little ways to go. But overall, it's pretty cool, I think. It's got, especially, the mountain range up here. Oh yeah, dumping the products into the map. Yeah, that's a good day or two right there. We got to get at least some of the mining products into our mines here, or we'll have nothing but empty areas, and people are like, what the heck is that? So yeah, we got to dump those products in as well. Sell points, ports, trains, boats, planes, automobiles. And yeah, I do have to say, I kind of really like driving up through the mountains. It's kind of a cool thing because it's the most finished part of the map, probably. But just going around the map now and seeing how it's developed. And I do remember I forgot to turn on the visibility for the roofs. What's what's the map name there, Doc? I'm missing that. Oh, trains, planes, and automobiles. No, but the different views. There's a lot of water around the map, which I think is cool. There's just so many. There's some different. I try to bring something different in with each design, and I really do like the way the water goes around the map. It also expands the map, so even though it's a 4x, we can travel out there. I mean, our boat, which is right here, not only goes up and down our river, but it goes on the outside of the map. Right now, it's on the inside. Just don't get out of the boat when you're off the map. You can. It won't do anything. And yes, my antenna is the only thing that clips through the bridges. It's too bad. I do have to rework this spline. It was done quickly in a day on one of our streams. And move it so that it goes to all the ports. And I'll try to make it go. I might try to take that little antenna off the boat. I don't know if it's possible. If it's a single piece, it will be. That way it won't clip through the bridges. But there'll be some pretty fantastic areas. We've got those. I mean, the sell points are there. They got to go through and hook them up so we can sell to them. But it's just putting the triggers in. So, as I was saying, technically speaking, once we go under this bridge right here and get out into this area over here, we are not on the map anymore. We are actually off the edge of the map. The edge of the map is where the land ends, but we can still drive the boat out here. So it's like almost like a 6x. You can't plan or anything. There's no bottom down there. It's a false bottom that I put in. But the land area of the actual map, I don't know if it shows on our mini map that I'm off. It shows, yeah, I'm not even showing up because we are off the map. We're on that one, it shows right on the edge, but we're technically off the edge of the map. Now, what would happen if we get out of the boat here? Nothing. It's water. There goes the boat. But we can swim back to the land. But you can't drive or do anything out here other than ride this. Uh, so we used absolutely every inch of the 4X landscape plus added on a nice floating running the boats literally off the map, but they work perfectly fine. So it's kind of cool. Different views. I mean, it's really coming along. Got nice different views as we go around. Always pushing the limits. I try to make the best use of what we have available. And I really do like the way that the water looks around here. No volcano on this one, but we have a very mountainous region up north, and when seasons comes out, I would love to do a snow mask that just works in the mountain areas for the most part, where the snow falls. It would be kind of cool to do a snow mask in the mountains so you could see snow up on the mountains when it's not snowing down below. That would be kind of cool. Beach props would be nice to put in. We've got the volleyball nets and we can put the piers back in. I would love to get all that, but that's all extras. We're going to be pushing this right up to release time with just getting this stuff in, and then we'll get whatever additional we can. Once I get the grass painted and the farmlands done, I think I'll throw it up and let people just let my team members drive around on the server and see if they find anything, hopefully for a couple or a few days, so that we can nail down any major things if anything's out there that I didn't catch. But all in all, I'm pretty darn pleased with it. The only other thing I have to do, realize, the boat's going in the opposite direction than it did on the other map, so the offload point of the boat is not on the dock side. I have to switch it over on this map so that when we get off the boat, we can be on the docks and not in the water. But there you have it. And we got to take the Shell Station sign off and logos because they are not, they might disqualify us. We got to make it a generic name so we can go back and put the pass gas sign on or something. Put that that I had from the 2013 map just for the release for the contest. Anyway, guys, I think I am going to retire for this evening. I'm just relaxing, enjoying a boat ride. Thank you everyone for your subs and for your attention and time, and keep on plugging away. Hopefully we will have a map in the contest this year. As you can see though, I have done definitely, it's come a long way since the last broadcast because I've been just pounding every. Sometimes I get home from work after working a 9-hour shift and I'll sit here for 4 hours. The other day it was 11:30 to 2:30 in the morning. I just did a lot of this stuff, 4 hours straight, and we'll get it done. It'll definitely be done soon, just hopefully on time. I might even release it if it's not done, because like you said, any if they see it, they'll vote on it. I don't even have to have a train in, and I'll probably get some votes. So, thanks everybody. We'll be back in actually, I don't even know. There's 10 prizes. I'd be happy with 10th place. You know, an unfinished map. I've seen some maps that had a lot of bad things gone that weren't finished in the contest in the past. So, my guess is I'll probably end it, yeah, enter it no matter what state it is in, just to have a chance, you know. Hopefully it'll be done enough, but just to have enough chance. Can't can't win it if you're not in it. I gotta fix my dock edges around there too. I just noticed. All right, folks, I'm out of here. Thanks for viewing my show. We've got a little bit of a mini map. You can see about 1/3 is all mountains. This third in the middle is the hill towns and flat area with tons of many small farming fields, but they'll be able to be combined together in some pretty large ones like this section right here. You could do a whole big one field if you wanted to. So it'll allow a lot of people to buy and try to accumulate their land. And thanks for the help too with you guys on the map, getting the mini map done. JD Mods, I think it was, and T7 with your helpful hints. We've learned a little bit today. We'll catch you all later. Have a great night. See ya hopefully on Sunday.